All right, folks, welcome back for another episode. I wanted to welcome my next guest, who is an author, life coach, humanitarian. She's a woman self-defense expert and the founder of Reclaiming Your Courage and co-founder of the Warrior Queens Rise movement, which helps to equip moms and females with the tools and confidence to protect their children and themselves always. Wanted to welcome my homegirl and fellow UCSC banana slug, Leslie Liu. What's good?
Woo! Banana Slugs
It's
reunion!
been a while. How are you?
I'm fired up. It's interesting because like the last time we saw each other, we weren't parents. And
Yeah.
so now to be following each other on our journeys, like, and to be coming full circle here, like, I feel grateful. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of amazing things. And I was trying to remember what you majored in at UCSC. Were you a sociology major too?
Of course, you know, it was either sociology or American Lit or bio, so of sociology. I think that's why we would bump into each other.
Yeah, I figured. I said, oh, with the work that she was doing today, it had to be that or poli sci. Well, good. Hey, tell me real quick about reclaiming your courage. I want to hear from your mouth what it's all about, how that started, how you got into it.
Yeah, fired up to be here. So
Hmm?
I've been a lifelong martial artist. Okay. And so when I mean that, it's like heart, body, soul. That's always been a part of my life. But after I became a mom, that slowed down quite a bit. And I think that I lost part of my identity. Right. And
Mm.
so at the start of the pandemic, what had happened was we saw the spikes in anti-Asian hate
Yeah.
crimes. And that was the thing that was keeping me up at night. When I knew people that personally were attacked, whether they were pregnant women, whether they were elders, break-ins, or whatever, that kept me up at night. And so that's really when I launched my company because I had this burning desire that I've got to do something. And a couple of years leading up to that, I was teaching self-defense in the gym, like everyone knows it, typical women signing up for a self-defense class. And that's
Yeah.
cool, but something was missing. And I'll tell you what's missing and why I created my company and why I created this methodology that I call mind, body, and voice. It's
Yep.
because there was always a handful of women in the class that just weren't getting it, right? And they were struggling, whether it's like, I don't know how to shrimp or they and what I noticed is that people would either hate on them and roll their eyes at them and just like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, you're just not getting it, right? Like, why aren't you just getting it?" And it's always the instructor in the front that's passionate about the techniques.
Yeah.
And what I found was something was going on. And so I started asking these women and holding space and starting saying like, well, what's going on for you right now? And what's the story of how you got here? And I will tell you that that opened up so much stuff in terms of self-worth.
Yeah.
Women were telling me so much of I'm not enough, I don't want to rock the boat. I was taught to not be aggressive. I think
Yeah.
so all of this stuff. And so I really spent a lot of time trying to understand what they were going through and their trauma. And then
Yeah.
I needed to start off with basics. They didn't even know what to say to someone who was standing too close to them.
Yeah.
So I started teaching them about boundaries and just really managing the space around them, right?
Yeah.
And so what I found was the minute I took more time to really kind of go about it in that way of making it safe for them, then once they learned how to grapple and do all this stuff, these women went from like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm not good enough and crying their eyes out to boom, instant. Once we made several weeks of those connections, these women were getting like 200-pound dudes off of them like
Yeah.
they were cars. And I was like, that's it. That the way that we go about this has to be different because
Yeah.
not everybody wants to be a martial artist, not everybody
Yeah.
loves it. So yeah, I've been blessed and just super passionate for about 5 years now.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So, do you think that's limited to women? Because you mentioned that some of the looks in class were based on them not knowing how to shrimp. Shrimp is not a natural move for anybody to do, right? Whether it be female or male. And so, do you think that was just limited to females, or was that just the population that you gravitated towards?
that was just the population that I gravitated
Okay.
towards and focused on women because jujitsu in itself is intimidating for men
Yeah,
or
100%.
women.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were doing stand-up fighting and
Hmm.
striking and everyone being on their back, it was vulnerable and trying to get women to understand this
Yeah.
applies to if someone's trying to rape you or
Yeah,
trying to
right.
abduct you, right? Like I started being very clear as here's why we're learning what we're learning,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that some women believe, well, self-defense isn't really for me because I'm not athletic,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so it's like, regardless of your size, you have to know that you're worth fighting for at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
No, hey, that's amazing. I really admire the work that you do. And so you did bring up to me that you wanted to talk about just everything that we know about courage and self-defense is wrong, right? And so you talked about, hey, we got to go about it. And so tell me how you formulated your concept into plan. How did you execute and get to the way that you're at? Was it a one-person ordeal? Did your husband help you, or how did you go about helping this to come to fruition?
I think it's derived from a lot of things. I'm very grateful for the community and the martial arts community that raised me. Definitely my husband because he has a kung fu background. So
Nice.
I started asking questions. And when you come from old school martial arts, nobody necessarily likes these questions.
Oh,
It's kind
sure.
of like this is the way we do it, this is the way we always done it, and this
Yeah.
is the way we're going to continue to do it. And so when I started doing things differently at the start of the pandemic, I'm not going to lie, like that wasn't welcomed
Yeah.
because I started questioning. I
Sure.
started asking more questions like, okay, well, how would you do it if you had one leg? Or if you were neurodivergent, all this
Yeah.
stuff. And people weren't really down with that. So I had to be really bold. So here's the argument that every time I speak somewhere, I say, look, what do you think of when you think of self-defense?
Okay.
And these women are like, pepper spray, keys in between their hands.
Oh
I'm
shit.
going to poke someone in the eye. I'm going
Right.
to kick them in the nuts.
Right. Right.
And I'm here to tell you that that shit doesn't work.
I'm with you.
That shit doesn't work. And so these women, that's all they're thinking about, but they're not thinking about plan B, plan C.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so what if you try to kick a guy in the groin and you miss?
Right.
And now he's angrier, or you try to pepper spray him, and now he's going to retaliate against you.
Yeah.
Like, it's self-defense is not all this crap you see on YouTube and all these
Right.
keychains and stuff. Like, you really have to know how to escape so that you can get back home to your family. And it's not
100%.
about you fighting and
Right.
being the best.
I agree.
It's about how do you have a warrior mindset, and I'll kind of tap into it, but like how do you kind
Yeah.
of have a warrior? A warrior wants to get back home to their family. A fighter might put themselves on the line and not make it.
Yeah. Hey, you brought up a good point. So I saw in another podcast that you mentioned, you talk about a female that went to go and pick up her Uber Eats, yeah, order, and then she went downstairs, and then lo and behold, she got followed and then assaulted in the elevator, and it was crazy to me. So I thought about it, and almost like sometimes people, if they're not able to defend themselves, gamble on the fact that people may be around, right, to rescue, but that's not always the case. And so I agree with you that yeah, hey, these fundamentals or these basic self-defense are absolutely, I mean, yeah, needed, right?
It's a trip because these women, when you ask them why they didn't do anything or whatnot, it's because they thought it was daylight. It was a
Mm-hmm.
nice apartment building. She was tripping more on the fact that no one was helping her,
Right.
actually thinking about defending herself. And that's where I say, like, as a society, we got to get away from that thinking. Because I said, what if I told you that empowerment means that no one is coming to save you?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was a powerful statement. I thought, before empowerment, or at least I defined it as maybe just you empowering yourself with the tools and the confidence, but it's not. But I like the add-on to it where you talk about, hey, no one's coming to save you, right? In the end, right? That it's not just you arming yourself to become a better person. Realize that somebody might not be there, right? So
Someone that might be there. And if we're going to take this on the tip of parents and being a mom,
yeah,
I work with moms, right? Like I do coaching and I do workshops and retreats. And I said, you got to stop attaching your value to someone else. You got to
sure,
stop. You got to stop relying on your husband to come and rescue you.
right,
And so if you have a daughter, if you're so scared of the world, what is that projecting onto her?
yeah,
So when it comes to confidence and self-esteem, I keep telling these women, I'm like, you've got to learn self-defense, at
yeah,
least practically, because your daughter is watching, right? And then you're going to teach your daughter how to be self-sufficient and to stand in her power. So whether
yeah,
that's her speaking up or just managing toxic friendships or bullies, it's not even about her fighting. Like what I tell women is they work with me because I'm like, you have to embody this
sure.
for your kids.
Yeah, a trained female is a dangerous one. I see it all the time in jujitsu, and like you said, I mean, size is irrelevant, right? And you think about it too, like only a small percentage of male or female trained in some sort of martial arts, right? So any advantage that you have, I think can make the difference in you surviving, right? And I do like the point that you mentioned too, was that the goal is not to fight, right? The goal is to get to a position where you can probably stun them for a second and then run, right? Do you share
Yes,
the same opinion?
that's what I do in my workshops. I go into my workshop and everyone's like, oh, are we gonna hit the guy in the suit and the stuff?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
and I'm like, no, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you how to strike with a stainless steel water bottle
mhm,
and a tactical flashlight.
yeah,
And I'm gonna show you how to properly fall if you get shot. And I'm gonna show you how to get up.
yeah, yeah. Holy cow.
Basics, right?
Yeah. And where do you work out of? Like, how do people get a hold of you? And I know you got the website, and that's a great point. Do you have an actual hard stand, or are you going to people's homes? How do you go about and do this stuff?
Yeah, people can reach out to me online and Instagram, Leslie at Reclaiming Your Courage. And so what I do is I do coach people one-on-one. So I
Yeah.
have various clients like in the Bay Area that they don't feel comfortable going in the dojo. They're
Yeah.
like, I
Great point.
just right. I have coached a lot of women executives, a lot of mother daughters. And then last couple years, people hire me to fly, right? Like, so I do a lot of workshops. I just did a in Oklahoma City for a girls' 16 party. So people can hire you workshops, corporate workshops, and I treat this on retreats. So instead of I realize moms cannot go every week to
Yeah.
train, right? It's kind of nearly impossible. So people can follow me in coaching programs where it's self-paced,
Okay.
or or they can come to one of
That's awesome. Are your clients limited to females only? Are you open to both male and female?
Great question. I predominantly focus on moms and their
Yeah.
daughters, but I do help men as well, and
Okay.
single dads, for example.
Yeah.
Um, and depending on what community organization I work with and the workshops that I do, I've worked with men who are like, "Hey, look, I'm not physically strong.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy that's going to be able to help."
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are males that don't know how to protect themselves either, right? So it's not just limited to females.
Definitely not. Definitely not. As long as you're two women and as long as you don't have that mentality that you're gonna come and save the day. You know,
Yeah.
some men are like, what I would do if some, like if I
Yeah.
talk to my husband and I say, hey, this happened, and he's like, oh man, I wish I was there. And the fact of the matter is, you're not there.
Yeah.
So I need to know how to hold it down, us and the kids.
Yeah.
There's no doubt you can protect us, but us.
No, absolutely. I think even just the fact that you can coach people to stay calm too, right? Because even if you were trained and you got whacked in the head with a steel pipe, that changes the game too, right? So,
It
yeah,
totally glass. What's interesting is that I know that the way that I resonates with a person because I was teaching at a center in San Francisco in the Francisco district, and elder Filipinos, they they have a cane. I
Right.
was like, "Oh, let me show you how to work it with that cane."
Yeah.
Right. And they
Absolutely.
felt like so, and then you see this fierceness come out of them because it's the reason why they get excited about it is because I apply it towards like every day,
Sure.
right? Like, okay, so you're getting in and out of a car. You're going, you're gonna get pulled by the hair or a backpack. Um, I don't know. Like but it's hard work. It's hard work. It's hard and leading the way because it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. And all this stuff too is not to guarantee you a win. It's to increase my percentage of survivability. At least that's the way I look at it, man. So
Exactly. Like when I was teaching women how to fall, they're like, what if there's glass on the floor? What if I cut myself? What if I hurt myself? And I'm like, there's no foolproof way here,
yeah,
right? Like this is,
yeah,
you're never gonna go into any situation not like scathed.
yeah.
We're just making the likelihood of you getting home higher.
That's it. Yeah, I love that. It's just real, right? All facts. And so yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad that you're getting out there and teaching and sharing the word. I do want to talk about your Kickstarter book. So I have the heart of a warrior. Can you talk to me about it? I saw that you surpassed your goal, but give me some details about it. I have the basics, but I need to hear from the author herself.
Yes, yes. So wrote a children's book. This book is affirmations to empower kids. So it's for parents, caregivers, teachers, community. So I thought, man, I've never seen a book that had kids of color in it, let
Okay.
alone a lot of Asian kids. So
Yeah,
selfishly, I wrote it because I was like, I want something that my kids could remember me by and
sure.
know who I am. But one day it also came to me because I was like, what are the words I needed to hear growing up?
Okay.
And that was important to me because in my work and in my defense, it really forced me to look at myself
Okay.
in terms of my evolution and really stand in my own power, right? So what do you do when you're really beat down? So I wrote this book and what it is it's a way for you to develop an affirmation pattern with your kids. So you're really teaching positive things of I'm not strong enough. So when situations that are in the book that happen, like when the kid is feeling like I'm not smart enough, that's a problem. It creates affirmations for them. Scene is that just by reading um your kid, specifically if they're the ages 3 to 8, because that's the age where they need the most levels and self-esteem, and it really sticks. You're actually helping affirmation practice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we started the kick, and as you mentioned, we funded, but we have 9 more days. So the thing with the Kickstarter is you don't hit your goal, you don't get it. So
That's right.
so now that we've gotten the fund, anything that we raise is going to help us. And
Yeah.
so why did I create a Kickstarter? I created a Kickstarter so that the book could be translated into 6 languages.
Yeah.
So now we have the chance to translate Swahili, Urdu, Bengali, Spanish, and Korean.
Right.
Wanted to translate the book because I didn't want to roll out a book that only Americans could read.
Sure.
Right. And I work humanitarian work in Kenya and research being able to translate the book in Swahili. And I return important. And then what is I said, hey, if you support the Kickstarter at this, you buy one and you give, so you'll get an autograph from me. But by you contributing to that money is going to gain more books and travel fees for me to translate like Nepal, donate the books to kids in rural areas. So it was important to me that this wasn't just something that
came on, you sell some copies, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like, it's really so that kids that are orphans or that are poor
Yeah.
have these messages of
Yeah. And so and the artwork, I love it. And I can see the book right behind you, and really, really cool. When do you guys plan to go into production? Is that going to be sometime this year?
sure, like once we get
So everyone that has pledged in the
Okay.
Kickstarter and you still have 9 days to do that, we're
Yeah.
focusing on you first. So they will be the first to get it.
I
So
see.
that will go out as early as March,
Fantastic.
up until to summer. So, definitely we wanted to incentivize those people first. And then yes, eventually you'll be able to get it online and whatnot. But if it calls to you at all, I encourage you to be part of the Kickstarter,
Okay.
because that's the special, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm going to be taking photos and videos when I go back to Kenya in July, and
Yeah.
let you know, hey, Jola, this is your copy. This is who we
Yeah.
gave it to.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hey, I saw that it was gonna, like you mentioned already, that it was gonna be translated into different language. I need some education though. Why Korean? Can you tell me why that was one of the languages?
Yeah, of course. We chose languages that actually, believe it or not, Urdu,
Yep,
and
that makes sense.
Bengali and
Yep.
Spanish among the highest. And for me, it was important for Korean because I'm part Korean.
Okay.
And so I specifically chose Korean because this kind of book that celebrates diversity,
Okay.
and when I talk about different body types, different skin tones, I don't see it in Korea.
Okay.
And there's a lot in Korea that I think that we need to kind of break some norms and stigmas.
Fair.
So it's my intention to get these books into Korea so that they can see other faces and body types.
Sure.
We know that body image in Korea is a thing, right? And
Yeah.
so it's really important for them to see something different. So
I see.
I'm really going to challenge and try to get there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I guess I should have thought about that from a diverse sense for many reasons and not one. So, great. That's amazing that it's going to come out as early as March. And so you mentioned that you're going back to Kenya in July, and I know you did a 9-day tour there where you talked to over 25,000 people just about with messaging all these points that you had previously mentioned. Can you talk to me about the tours that you're doing, and we can start with the one in Kenya. What was that all about, and how that
Yeah.
went?
Oh my goodness. So I went to Kenya 2 years ago
Okay.
because my best friend at the time was like, "Hey, do you want to go?" And I honestly signed up for a speaking and humanitarian tour just because like I wanted to become an international speaker.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing. I just showed up. I was like, "Oh, I always wanted to go to Kenya. I want to go on
Wow.
safari. Sure, sign me up," right?
Right.
I don't have anything. I don't know what's about to happen. They didn't tell us much. So I
Yeah.
just show up. And so sometimes they were like, "Hey, we're going to be in front of 2,000 kids. You've got 4 minutes to talk."
Oh.
Right? And so that's kind of where all of this warrior spirit really kind of came into play, because
Okay.
that really, when you got to perform like that,
I
it
know.
it puts you in a real place of like, how do I disperse this message? I'm
Like
Asian in front of all these Kenyan kids
in 4 minutes,
in
right?
4 minutes. What do I want to say to them? And honestly, it
It's
really
tough.
came down to, you could come from nothing and be something. Because some of these kids were from the slums, and I
Okay.
said, "My name's Leslie. I'm the warrior. I help raise warriors."
Yeah.
And if that's all I got, and then I showed them some self-defense technique, like
Nice.
wrist release, blew their mind.
Uh,
They never had seen anything like that. And these are
yeah.
kids that are getting abducted while trying to get water every day. Like,
Yeah.
these are kids getting attacked. So after I was done with that talk,
Yeah.
these girls would come up to me and they're like, I said, "Hi." And they're like, "We just want to walk alongside the warrior."
Yeah. That's awesome.
Because it's a very inspired message. So fast forward, we spent
Yeah.
9 days there the first time. We hit 10,000 people. And I'm
Amazing.
like, oh my God. So me and my best friend, we decided, you know what? We know that us together could create something even more massive.
Yeah.
So her and I created Warrior Queens Rise.
Okay.
And then last year we did our first speaking and humanitarian tour. So not only did we speak to 23,000 young people,
Yeah. Holy cow.
we really wanted to focus on service because in our first tour they said it, but I I honestly we didn't do anything. And so this time around, we made sure we fundraised. We made sure that we rebuilt a widow's home with our
Yeah.
hands,
Wow.
with mud. We made sure we visited the slums, and that is the Kibera slums is the largest slums in Africa.
Okay.
So they're like, there's no groups coming in here. So
Yeah.
we literally went into the
Wow.
slums, donated $500 to get groceries, bought out half of, honestly, like literally like 6 carts full of food, rice,
Wow.
sugar, bread, and we went to go deliver it.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Kibera Slums High School,
Man.
which nobody goes to. And so because these kids crave the inspiration and the motivation so much.
Yeah.
So one thing I will say that really broke me, really, really broke me is like, because some of these kids like have nobody, right?
Okay.
They're orphans. Some of these girls are pregnant because they've been assaulted.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I wrote a book is because when you look at their libraries, some of these books look 40 years old, man. Like these
Sure.
books were tore up, like,
Yeah.
and so when I brought them one of my other books, the one in the corner, the Asian Trailblazer book, to see their eyes light up, they crave knowledge so much.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right.
Sure.
And so any picture, vibrant color, any message of hope was something that they would write notes to us and
Yeah.
say, thanks so much for speaking at our school today. We wanted to harm ourselves today. I wanted to jump off out the window.
Yeah.
Because
Crazy.
their life is so, so hard. And
Yeah.
so for me, this book is this is about giving them the hope that they are a warrior, that they
Yeah.
could keep clawing their way out and make it.
Yeah. And that might make the difference, right? Just your visit there might make the difference. That's crazy to think. And was the tour just in Kenya, or did you travel all around Africa?
We just man, have you ever been to Africa yet?
No, I'd love to go. So just as I saw the pictures, I just was amazed.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love. Everyone's like, why Kenya? That's so random. I was like,
Why
isn't it?
not?
I was like, first of all, like Asia and Africa have deep, rich history. These kids they didn't hate on me. They like embraced me wholeheartly, right?
Yeah.
Kenya itself is so large. I want to go to all of Africa. There's definitely more places I want to go. But bro, there's so much. Like when you go to we were in Nairobi,
Wow.
which is like we were, meeting with like the National Heroes Council.
Amazing.
They're thinking about recognizing our work. And then you start going into these rural areas. It takes like 2 or 3 days just to get up to safari.
Sure.
Then we saw the Masai Mara, and there's something about it where it's like, man, I want to stay.
Yeah.
There's really not enough time unless you have a month. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to be able to go to places like Ethiopia.
Oh, I'm sure it was rushed.
Oh
rushed.
man. So I want to secretly go to other parts, but because Kenyan people have such a big heart, they
Right.
have nothing and they're just smiling at us.
Yeah.
No running water, none of this stuff. But the fact that I came, I taught them stuff and we shared laughs. Like these people make me realize that, how well I have it here. And that's why I keep going back.
Yeah. And there are people that just don't like to travel, right? And, they talk and they see just what they're surrounded with. So it's amazing that you get to go out there, capture that, do what you do, and share the story back here to educate. Right. So just even for me, just to learn about what you're doing, it's very inspiring. And
Oh
so,
man, Ro, I
yeah,
envision you there. You know why? Because when we were doing this tour, so even
yeah,
though this is kind of like all about women's empowerment,
sure.
the young men at some of these schools, some of them are mixed schools, so maybe 2,000 boys on one side, 2,000
Yeah.
girls on the other side. So what started happening was the boys, the young men started coming up to us and they're like, well, what about us?
Mm,
Like this, you guys are talking about women empowerment and stuff,
yeah.
but like don't leave the boy, they call it boy child, don't leave the boy child behind.
Fair
And we
point.
and we said, you know what? Warrior Queens Rise, we don't. So
Yeah.
we're all about uplifting queens and kings, but in
Yeah.
order for you to be a king, here's how you support queens,
Yeah. Hey,
right?
and you said that you're going back in July. Are you expanding the group of people that you bring? Is the curriculum going to be further expanded? What are you going to be doing in July that is different from what you did in your previous
Oh, great question, man.
visits?
So we in our July tour, we have 3 more spots left. And you'll notice that it's a very small group. And so there's no curriculum. We don't tell people what to talk about or what to say. So as long as you're someone who wants to be a speaker, you want to impact lives and you want to do service work,
Yeah,
apply.
I love it.
Okay. This is not, we don't stage anything. It's really
Yeah,
like, do you have a good heart? What would you say? Like, bro, what would you say to 2,000 young men if you had
yeah.
the
Oh man,
chance?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so we're
amazing.
we're intentionally, so yeah, I definitely encourage anyone to apply where it's like if you feel like you were meant for more,
Yeah,
apply. This is not something where we're going to another country and just parading around and taking photos
right,
because that
right.
exists, okay?
Yeah,
And I've been around
absolutely.
that. Okay. I was like, this is if you're an influencer or someone who's trying to take photos of your feet and
Yeah,
just say, like, hey, I'm taking photos with Kenyans. Hey, no, we literally got our hands in the mud rebuilding a widow's home.
I love it.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
that's,
some
you know,
meaningful work.
yeah. So, what's different about this July versus our bigger tour? So, in our bigger tour, we kind of accept like 10 people, and in 10 days, you go to safari, and it's kind of like being a rock star in the sense that every day you're hitting up like 3 schools. We get on the bus,
Yeah,
we show up, everybody got 5 minutes to talk maybe, and then you might see the students, but you got to move on. You got to move to the next place
yeah,
because some
sure.
of these students are waiting hours just for us to come.
Wow.
Right? So time is of the essence. So
Yeah.
what's special about this tour back in July is um, what I want to share with you is that there's a specific group of girls
Okay.
that it's a rape and rehabilitation center.
Oh wow.
And these girls were violated as young as 3 by village elders because gender-based violence is a very strong problem and period poverty in Kenya. So we went to go visit these girls. It's in an undisclosed location for their safety. So
Sure.
so we work with a local peace ambassador, someone who's a Kenyan national hero. Like nobody can just go there. So
Sure.
these girls are traumatized. So we went to go visit them, and man, it's like time flew by. So after an hour, they said, "Will you please come back?"
Wow.
Right? And so that's what's going to be very special about July is that we intentionally are doing less time. So
Okay.
5 days, we're doing 5 days, so half the time.
Yeah.
We're not going to do the fancy thing. We're not going to safari.
Yeah.
We are spending more time in depth with the young girls, local leaders. Um, we're doing workshops. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited that I'm going to be able to teach them more about
Nice.
protection.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you are someone who works with people who've been through trauma, we want you on this tour. We want you to, if you actually want to interact with the people, we are going to go back and we're going to cook the food at the slums and we're
Yeah.
going to distribute. Last time we
Yeah.
just bought the groceries and we couldn't stay, but this time it's like, okay, let's cook all this rice and these
Yeah.
beans and distribute.
Yeah. I love everything that you're about. It's just these topics that you pick, empowering people, empowering women, creating change through advocacy and action, and in general, just creating a strong and safer space. I mean, it's yeah, absolutely needed, and just to educate people how to know that it's there, and just the idea of it. I love it. I love everything that you're doing. What's amazing to me was that you also did some time and spoke at the Science Center at Harvard University and King's College at Cambridge University. Tell me about that experience.
Oh man. I tell people it's funny and it's almost surreal because I'm a college dropout. I dropped out of Santa Cruz. I never finished
Oh,
because my mom got sick.
hmm.
And so being at Harvard was surreal.
What?
You know, like
Yeah, get it, girl.
right? Like I'm like, hey, I'm a college dropout, but I still made it. I did something, right?
That's right.
So this thing at Harvard and King's College was kind of like in the style of a TED Talk. You got 7 minutes, you got no slides.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, I've been to Kenya, man. This is like
Right.
this ain't nothing for me. So I was like, I'm gonna go there. And I feel like my talk at Harvard was, and aside from Kenya, was the best talk I ever gave.
Amazing.
And the reason why is instead of playing small and safe, I went hard and I went big. And what I mean by that is
Good.
this argument of what you know about self-defense is wrong. And let me tell you, and I shared with everybody, why do I do all this work? It's because I had a friend years ago who had an abusive boyfriend. And I thought I was gonna fight him, bro. I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna win. She needed my help. And so I shared the story of how I've got 2 black belts. And this is where I thought that my training was going to be enough.
Sure.
But what happened is he assaulted me in front of her,
Oh, wow.
and I ended up in the emergency room, and I never saw her again because she felt very ashamed and guilty because she's a victim. She couldn't do anything. Um that was a hero's moment for me of really, really forcing myself to think about what I know to be true. I thought black belt and technique and everything was enough,
Right.
but it's actually not. And that is why I do everything I do today, because I had a fighter mentality. I thought if I just go hard, if I just, rely on my training, it's going to be all good and it's going to be like a movie. And the fact of the matter is, nobody tells you how much it hurts to get hit,
Yeah.
to have a
Sure.
broken rib as
Changes
a
the
woman.
plan.
Right. So the lesson learned there. And so what I did is I showed the women how to get out of a choke in 7 seconds.
Right.
And I taught them the concept of leverage over strength during my
Sure.
talk. And Ro, after that talk, I had at least 7 women come up to me, victims, people who have been put in that situation. And they're
Wow.
like, you just showed me, because they have never been exposed to martial arts or anything. And so
Yeah.
that simple concept about leverage over strength stuck with them. And I said, this is why I teach my method, because women
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. There has to be people telling them that it is okay to walk into a dojo or some sort of martial arts class. Yeah, it's very intimidating, right? If you've never done martial arts, to go into a school and say, I want to learn. And yeah, I mean, I recall my first time just to kind of embarrassed, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
just like,
so
hey,
most people are like, it's not for me. Uh,
I,
and then they freak out because they don't think that they're enough. And so yeah, so when you make self-defense practical to people,
yeah,
and so all these women who came up to me, they had been choked by
yeah,
men.
yeah,
And I'm like, I know women, we get assaulted all the time. No one talks about it, but I'm here to tell you, I got beaten to a pulp
yeah,
because, and that's why I don't teach my clients to go toe to toe with a man.
right,
If you go somewhere and someone tells you you're unstoppable,
yeah.
you're a superhero,
That's guys
that's
too.
that's a
Yeah,
lie. That is a lie. And that's what I am here. I will yell it to anybody that
yeah,
that's not what women's self-defense is. And if you are teaching women that, shame on you.
yeah, yeah. I'm
We're
with you.
teaching women that they can go toe to toe like that.
Yeah, yeah,
No.
I'm with you. Just say same thing. You tell black jiu-jitsu black belt too, right? Who's never done any stand up. Get punched in the face a couple times, it changes the game. You know, I'm
Just-
active blue belt. So
that's exactly the analogy I'm telling you.
yeah,
Or yeah, you try to put a jujitsu person in a striking situation. I'm like,
right.
no, if you go up against Superbon and you get kicked in the calf and you can't
Yeah,
stand,
Yeah,
That changes everything.
changes the game. Absolutely. And vice versa. Same thing too, right? You get a stand-up guy on the ground,
Yes.
it changes the math.
And so what I appreciate about I appreciate jujitsu so much, but women are intimidated by jujitsu. So when I tell them
Yeah.
the story of, look, I was mounted and he choked me to the
Yeah.
point where I passed out,
Oh wow.
that's why that's important.
Yeah.
Right? Because being on your back is the most vulnerable thing ever.
Yeah.
But and again, I'm not knocking men for teaching self-defense. I've been around a lot of I've been very fortunate to be taught by a lot of great men,
Yeah.
but there's power in women, especially women of color, learning from other women.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, just the relatability and your willingness to be open with another female. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just
so
depends how you take how you want to learn.
right. And so this journey has not been an easy one, man. Like
Yeah.
people have literally said, why are you doing this? Why are you charging the way you're charging? You should be doing it for free. How dare you do it this way? Um, I got so much criticism. And it really hurt me for so
Mm,
long. But I'm like, look, if you're not gonna invite me to the table, I'll just go make my own table.
that's right. That's right.
And and to be able to teach something so different, and that no one's really, kind of presented it this way, man,
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight haterade. So I'm like, okay, the more haters I'm getting, then I know I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it packaged the way that you do. And it's the work that you put into it, hey, you're getting paid for, the hard work that you're doing basically, right? So yeah, no,
Yeah, and it's because it changes lives. I've literally worked with
yeah.
women like pharmaceutical rep,
Yeah.
someone, an executive, because it doesn't matter who you are as a woman, where you
Yeah.
are in the world, what your background is, it's our reality.
Yeah.
And someone has to be bold and not Disneyland about this. So what do I
Right.
mean about Disneyland? Like sometimes I see shit and I'm like, that's real cute and marketable,
Yeah.
but I've been on the ground doing the work with the people and the people who are scared and the
Yeah.
communities. And so I'm like, I need to figure out what works for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate just the realness of what you're teaching, right? Because I'm even so I didn't get a chance to go too deep into it, but I didn't know. Well, actually, it was refreshing to hear that if you're expecting like to go toe to toe with somebody and think that that's enough, that in my opinion, that's not the case too. And even for guys too, right? It doesn't matter if you're a black belt, right? Like I said, anything can change the fight quick. So, yeah, I just I'm not with it when people say that, hey, this is enough. Yeah. So it's refreshing to hear your take on self defense. I enjoy it. I like it.
Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
As we're kind of wrapping up, I envision you one day in Kenya, whether you go on our tour or another tour. But the reason why I think about you is that
Yeah.
these young men and people in Kenya love to dance and love to sing, and they love to flow. They love to write poems, but they also
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I don't know about singing and dancing, but if you need someone to rap, I'm your dude.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how could you? I envision you in a group of
Yeah.
young men of thousands, and just having a circle. And I'm telling you, they go so hard, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, they
Yeah.
they love free, they love expressing themselves in that
Yeah.
way. So it'd be beautiful to have someone like you there,
Yeah. I would
just
love that.
just rhyming and doing something and recording something with them. That would change everything for them. I guarantee. So I'm planting that seed for you.
Yeah, I love it. Let's make it manifest.
Yeah.
Well, hey, with that, I wanted to just mention that after this amazing talk about everything that we had just covered in self-defense and empowerment, you were recognized recently from the Washington DC Chronicle News as one of the global women to watch in 2024. Congratulations! And in 2022, Asian Woman Trailblazer Award. Amazing. How was that experience? I'm sure humbling, but well deserved.
Hey man, it was humbling to be on a list that the Washington DC Chronicle, Brene Brown is also on that list.
Mm.
So not only could I say, hey, I was on that list, Brene
With,
Brown was also with Brene Brown.
yeah,
It does mean a lot, especially when you're heads down deep in the work. And some days I don't really know if what I'm doing is making an impact, to be
sure.
honest. Like there's some days where I'm like, is it enough? Am I doing what I've been called to do? And then with the Trailblazer Award, it definitely meant a lot. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
trailblazer because you have to have such a level of boldness and unapologetic way about you. And
yeah,
I now know after these years, yeah, yeah, line in the sand. No one's me and criticize me, penetrate me the way that it used to hurt me.
yeah, sure.
So I'm like, this is lifelong. This is my life.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring, and again, you're doing some amazing things. I'm so proud of you, and I love that somebody is doing this, and just it's always important to me to educate all those around me. So I love that you're spreading the message and teaching realness.
Yeah.
Thank you. You are
Yeah, man.
amazing.
One day we do a workshop.
Come to where you're at. I envision us on a beach doing some stuff and a workshop.
I love it. Well, I'm going to Indonesia this summer. We're gonna be out there for a couple years. You guys bring the tour over there, and we'll do something in Indonesia.
Oh man, I love it. It's actually on my list. So,
There
the
you go.
universe brought us together for a reason.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, hey, thank you again for your time. I love to end the interview with just some fun, lighthearted questions. So
Yeah.
if you are ready, let's begin.
Okay.
All right. First question. Just because I love rap music, who is Leslie's favorite rapper?
Oh man, it has to be in the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Leslie's favorite food.
Without a doubt, Thai food.
Ooh. It's not because of all the visits to Thailand recently, right? Yeah, you
I
love
mean that. I mean, I'm pretty much
Thailand.
Thai, man. Like I could have Thai food like nobody's business.
I love it. All right. Hey, I'm a big guy when it comes to humor. One of your favorite comedy movies of all time.
Hmm. I mean, come on, Half Baked.
Oh,
Sick.
I love it. With the young Dave Chappelle. That's a good one.
I'm stuck somewhere in the 80s and 90s. I could go off on comedies.
I'm
They don't
still
make them like they
there.
used to.
I agree. Coming to America, my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, dang, that's a good one. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Finish the sentence. I hate it when.
I hate it when my husband drinks a drink that I intended to finish myself and he drinks it before me. Like
That's a good one.
I have drinks all over. I'm maybe this is a typical female thing. I have a bunch of drinks methodically all around the house, and I'm like, my intention is to get back to it, and then I turn my head and
It's
the man
gone.
downs it. He's like, I didn't want it to waste it. And I'm like, that was my drink.
You can't be.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh shit. It's always gonna be Hoobastank,
Ooh,
The Reason.
I like it. That's a
Yep.
good one.
Yep.
Power song. All right. Hey, if you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
I'm kind of masochistic, so I will go with Magneto. I would go with Magneto's. I'm always caught up between Wolverine, but like I think I actually do want Magneto's powers.
Hey, that's a cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. If you could have a meal with anyone, past or present, dead or alive, who would it be?
Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, fantastic. Good choice.
I want to know
Why?
what's it like being in the game for 30 plus years and then get recognized at the 40-year mark and
Oh,
like I'm like
yeah.
you she's not a new face. She had been around for how long before she truly made it?
Yeah. And she's been doing amazing roles way back in the day too. So yeah, definitely well deserved, but good reason for sure. Yeah. Hey, well, with that, hey, Leslie, amazing. Again, truly inspiring. Thank you for your time. I can't wait to get this interview out. Now, I want to turn the floor over to you for any final words before we close this amazing session.
Oh man, I'm just gonna leave it with something heartfelt that I say to everyone. So if you are a woman who feels anxious, who feels like you're not strong enough, just know that in any given situation, you're the non-negotiable and that you're worth fighting for.
Love it. Well, thank you. Take care. Send my love to your family and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Awesome. See you in Indonesia.
Yes.